Welcome to the Elevate Life Project with your host, Michael Cohan. At the Elevate Life Project, we are dedicated to inspiring people to achieve their goals and live their dreams to their highest potential. Aim higher. Elevate your life.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Elevate Life Project. I'm your host, Michael Cohan. And as always, I am so glad you're here. Thank you for tuning in today. Whether you're on your walk, in your car, or just taking a few minutes for yourself, I appreciate you being here. Let's get into it. Today, I want to talk about something I think we all need to hear, especially right now. And it's this: you are having a bigger impact on the world than you realize. I know that might sound like a nice thing to say, but I'm not just saying it to make you feel good. There's actually science behind it. And when I came across this research, it really stopped me in my tracks because it completely changed the way I think about the small things we do for each other every single day. Researchers at the University of Texas at Austin did a study on random acts of kindness, and what they found was fascinating. They looked at a variety of situations where people did small favors or gave small gifts to others. Nothing huge, nothing extravagant, just simple gestures. And then they asked both the givers and the recipients to rate the emotional impact on a scale of 1 to 5. And here's what happened. Every single time the recipient rated the impact higher than the giver predicted. The people doing the kind thing consistently underestimated how much it would mean to the person receiving it. Let me give you a specific example. In one part of the study, volunteers gave away cups of hot chocolate to strangers. The givers predicted the emotional boost would be about 2.3 out of 5. The people who received the hot chocolate scored it as a 3.5. That's a massive gap. And think about what that means. It's just a cup of hot chocolate. It wasn't a car. It wasn't a check for $10,000. It was a warm drink handed to someone on a cold day. And it made their day in a way that the giver never would have guessed. And here's the part that really got me. The researchers found that what mattered most wasn't the size of the gesture. It was the warmth behind it. It was the intention. The fact that someone thought of you, noticed you, went out of their way for you. That's what landed. That's what made people feel something. We spend so much time thinking that our small gestures don't matter, that unless we're doing something big and dramatic, it won't make a difference. But the science is telling us the exact opposite. The small stuff matters. It matters more than we think. And then there's another layer to this that I love. The study also found that kindness is contagious. When someone receives a random act of kindness, they were more likely to go out and do something kind for someone else. So that one cup of hot chocolate just didn't make one person's day better. It created a ripple. That person went on to do something kind for another person, who then did something kind for another person. One small act set a chain of reactions. And that's the power of what we're talking about here. You don't have to change the world the whole time. You just have to touch one person. And that one act of kindness ripples outward in ways you'll never fully see. So let's talk about where this starts. And I want to begin with home, because I think that's where we have the biggest opportunity. And also, where we're most likely to drop the ball. When life gets busy, and it's always busy, it's easy to start taking the people closest to you for granted. Your partner, your kids, your parents. These are the people you love the most. And yet they're often the last ones to get your intentional energy because you assume they already know how you feel. But they need to be reminded. And the beautiful thing is, it doesn't take grand gestures to do that. Sometimes the most meaningful thing you can do for your partner isn't a dozen roses or a fancy dinner. Sometimes it's just taking out the garbage without being asked. Sometimes it's handling a chore that you know you've been dreading. It's not glamorous, but it says, "I see you. I know you're tired. Let me make this one. Let me take this one on." And that lands deeper than you might think. It's not about keeping score of who did what. It's about showing up and supporting each other without being asked. And the same goes for your kids. One of the most powerful things you can do for your children is simply listen to them. Not half listen while you're scrolling on your phone. Actually listen. Ask them what they think about things. Ask them about their interests. Let them talk and give them your full attention. Because when a child feels truly heard by their parents, it builds something in them that lasts a lifetime. And it tells them that their thoughts matter, that their voice matters, that they matter. And don't forget the people who might not be right in front of you every day. Your aging parents, your grandparents, an elderly aunt or uncle who lives alone. Pick up the phone and call them. Not a text, a call. Or better yet, a video call. Help them set up the technology if they need it. Write them a letter. Send them photos of the family. These are the people who gave you so much, and sometimes all they need is to know that they haven't been forgotten. That small act of reaching out can mean the world to someone who spends most of their days alone. Now, let's shift to another place where kindness can make a huge difference, and that's work. You spend roughly a third of your life at work. That's an enormous amount of time, and the quality of that time is largely determined by the relationship you have with the people around you. A workplace where people look out for each other, celebrate each other, and generally care about each other's success is a completely different experience than one where everyone is just looking out for themselves. And you can be the person who shifts that culture. It doesn't take a title or a position of authority. It just takes intention. Making point to include people. If you notice someone who's been quiet in meetings, invite their input. If someone did great work on a project, say something about it. Not just to them, say it in front of them. Help people get the recognition they deserve. Write a recommendation for a colleague. Make a referral that could open a door for someone. These things cost you nothing, but they can change someone's trajectory. And sometimes kindness at work is even simpler than that. It's bringing in donuts on a random Tuesday. It's cracking a joke when the energy in the room is heavy. It's checking in on a coworker who seems like they're having a rough week. These aren't strategic moves, they're human moves. And they make the place where you spend a third of your life a whole lot better. Not just for you, but for everyone around you. And then there's everywhere else. Because kindness doesn't have a location. It doesn't require a plan or a budget. It just requires you to be present and aware of the people around you. And once you start looking for opportunities to be kind, you'll see them everywhere. Let someone go ahead of your Let someone go ahead of you in line at the grocery store. Give up the closest parking spot. I know that sounds small, but watch the look on someone's face when you wave them ahead of you. There's a moment of surprise and then a smile. And that smile is real. You just made someone's moment a little bit better, and it cost you absolutely nothing. Strike up a conversation with a stranger. Not everyone wants to talk, and that's fine. Read the room. And when someone seems open to it, say hello. Make a comment about the weather, the coffee, whatever you have in common in that moment. We live in a world where everyone is staring at their phone. And sometimes just being acknowledged by another human being can shift someone's entire day. We underestimate how isolated people feel, and a brief, genuine interaction can remind someone that they're not invisible. Give out compliments. And I mean real ones. not generic ones. Tell someone you admire their work ethic. Tell a neighbor their garden looks incredible. Tell a stranger you love their jacket. People walk around all day carrying insecurities and self doubt, and a genuine compliment from an unexpected source can completely turn that around. It takes you 3 seconds to say it, and the person on the receiving end might carry it with them for the rest of the week. And here's one I truly love: pick up litter. There's actually a movement that started in Sweden called plogging, where people combine jogging with picking up garbage. But you don't have to be a runner to do it. Next time you're on a walk, bring a bag with you and pick up what you see. You're cleaning up your community, you're getting some exercise, and you're setting an example for everyone who sees you doing it. It's a small thing, but it sends a message. This place matters, and I care enough to take care of it. So here's what I want you to take away from today. You don't need a lot of money to make a difference. You don't need a platform or a following or a grand plan. You just need to be intentional about how you move through the world. A kind word, a small favor, a moment of genuine intention. These things matter so much more than we give them credit for. The science proves it. The people on the receiving end feel more deeply than we predict. And the ripple effect means that your one small act can set off a chain of kindness that touches people you've never even met. So here's my challenge. Commit to one act of kindness every day for the next 7 days. It doesn't have to be big. It doesn't have to cost a dime. Just do something intentional for someone else, at home, at work, or out in the world, and pay attention to how it makes you feel. Because here's the secret that the research also confirms. Kindness doesn't just help the person receiving it, it helps you too. It lifts your mood, gives you a sense of purpose, and it reminds you that you have the power to make the world a little better, one moment at a time. All right, that's what I got for you today. If this episode spoke to you, share it with someone who could use a reminder that kindness matters. Subscribe if you haven't already and leave us a review. That's what helps us reach more people, and it means so much. To write us a review, open this podcast in your app and search for the Elevate Life Project. And if you want to discover your true purpose, head over to our website at elevatelifeproject.com. As always, aim higher and elevate your life. I'll see you next time.
Thank you for listening to the Elevate Life Project. I hope you enjoyed this episode. If you like our show, please write us a review. By writing us a review, you will help raise our profile so more people can find our show. Links to our sponsors and other tools can be found in our show notes, along with other useful information. For more information on our coaching classes, please visit our website at elevatelifeproject.com and sign up for our newsletter. Remember, aim higher, elevate your life.